Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Movies from A to Z month. Now we're up to the letter M. We're about halfway through, so let's get this started. It's another Dirty Harry movie, this time the second one in the series, done with a style, it's still in the 70s in 1973, and it's the first sequel of many sequels, and that is Magnum Force. Yes, the second one in the franchise, the longest one of all these. It's 2 hours and 4 minutes. Yeah, it's a little bit too long, but I'll get to that. This one is directed by whatchamacallit. No, the screenplay was written by John Milius and Michael Machino, and Ted Post directed this one. Basically, it takes place right after the first one, but this one is a lot different. And instead of the first one, where there's one killer, this time it's a mobster, Carmine Rica, he who leaves court out of a technicality, and people are like, "You're a scumbag. You're gonna get yours." And of course, he does get his. At the end, he's acquitted of mass murder on a legal technicality. However, his limousine is isolated road. Rika and his three associates are pulled over by the SFPD motorcycle cops and murdered. Inspector Harry Callahan visits the crime scene along his partner Erlington Early Smith, despite the fact that the two of them are supposed to be in stakeout duty. Yeah, so yeah, Callahan is on the case of where there's an attempted robbery of a store, which is a really awesome scene, by the way. It's really well done. There's a pimp who murders a prostitute. Yeah, this is definitely the darkest and of the movies that I've seen, because this one has a lot of murder, a lot of blood, and women getting killed or maimed. So if you're not a fan of that, then this is not going to be your movie, especially for feminists, because they hate all these movies because like, oh, the men are so powerful, yet the women are treated like shit. I'm like, well, it was a different time, guys. The 70s in film was a very dark time for both men and women. This one, yeah, you have there's a lot of familiar faces in this movie. You have Robert Urich is in the movie. You have Tim Matheson. He's a rookie cop in the movie. You have Kip Niven. You have Hal Holbrook as the Lieutenant Neil Briggs. And like I said, this movie is definitely darker. But one problem I had with the film is like there's a little bit too much in the movie. Like they should have just focused on mainly on the villain and Clint Eastwood's character, Dirty Harry. Having all these characters, I mean, you have Franco Palancio from the first movie, so he comes back, and Robert Mitchum's brother John Mitchum comes back as Frank DeGiorgio, so they come back. But there's like so many characters. Susan Summers is a pool girl in the movie, and she gets murdered. Like in this movie, everybody is a target. Like she's in a pool scene with a bunch of people in the pool, and they all get brutally murdered. And I'm like, man, this movie is not playing games. And I like that about it. That's what's really intriguing about it. This movie did not go for the PG-13. All of these movies are bloody. They have a lot of sexual content, and they're dirty and gritty, and they work. And don't ever remake these movies, Hollywood, because you can never redo the way they filmed movies back in the 70s and the early 80s. You can't do it. Tarantino tries and it works sometimes, but his movies are like 3 hours long. This is 2 hours and 4 minutes, a little bit too long. The first Dirty Harry was only an hour and 42. This one has some padding in it, just like Karate Kid 2, except this is a lot longer. And but it's a sequel. But I can let it slide in some cases only because it's not 2.5 hours. It's basically as long as Bad Boys 3, which is longer than the first one. But there was a lot of good things in that. And there's a lot of good things here. Like I said, Clint Eastwood is still awesome as Dirty Harry. The acting's great. The action is well done. There's a lot more of it in this one. And there's also a lot of characters, moments. And the controversy in the movie is that, yeah, it says the film received negative publicity in 1974 when it was discovered that the scene where the prostitute is killed with drain cleaner had allegedly inspired the infamous Hi-Fi murders. Again, I'm going to say this once, so I don't have to say this in my next 3 reviews. It's a movie, people. This is not a documentary on a murder case. This is a fictional world that feels real, but it's a freaking movie. It is not real. This is not a thing. Like That would be like in like a year from now they do a coronavirus movie. Yes, that really happened, but if it's a movie, it's not going to be exactly what happened because you can't capture reality all in film unless it's a documentary where you get real footage of real things happening, like a Trump speech. But I'm not going to get political. But anyway, yeah, it says, yeah, with the two murderers believing the method would be as efficient as if it was portrayed in film. The killer said that they were looking for a unique way to murder method when they stumbled upon it. So what if the Joker did that in the Dark Knight, or if he did that in Suicide Squad? Or even in freaking Joker from last year. What would people say? The controversy? Every R-rated movie has controversy, guys. Every single one. Whether it's for the violence, or the language, or the sexual content, or the freaking drug use, or the violence towards women, or rape scenes. At least there's not too much of that. Like the woman gets attacked, but she doesn't get raped. So thankfully, because I don't want to see that. That's horrifying. That really, really just horrifies me. That's worse than any head blowing up or someone getting shot. It's just the worst. It's the most mean spirited thing in any film. The drain cleaner reference was repeated in at least three other films. Lethal Weapon, comedy. That's not that movie's not that dark. I mean, it is at first, but it's not like a total, downbeat movie. Heathers, which is like a dark comedy, and Urban Legend, which is a horror movie. So again, and it's Drano. People don't even use that. A year ago, before Corona, people were eating Tide Pods, which is also very deadly. So, and they were doing that willfully. They weren't like forcing down their throats. So yeah, people just they really did. People in this world wearing freaking uh things on their head and going and doing Corona parties and all that. What the hell is wrong with people? Can't you just accept things for the way they are? The way things are the way things are. That's the way it is. In a movie, it's fictional. Stop connecting it to reality. I watch movies like this to get away from the troubles of the world because there's plenty of it. Anyway, yeah, according to scriptwriter John Milius, this drain cleaner scene was never meant to be filmed and was only mentioned in the script. Again, because it wanted to do something different. Any pimp could have like stabbed the woman or shot the woman or raped her or hit her with a car. They wanted to try something different. Hey, Saw did worse than that. They torture people and then they kill them. And yet, every one of those movies got a theatrical release, so I don't want to hear it. The film did pretty well. The film, its opening weekend, it made 6 million. Remember, this was 1973, so there were no 3D tickets or whatever. In the U.S., the film made 44, making it the more successful than the first one because again, they took a lot of risks. It's a little bit too long, but there's a lot of risks and a lot of bloodshed. And the movie, it knows what it is. Here's the criticisms. They criticize conflicting moral themes. It's a freaking movie, guys. Get over it. I'm not trying to learn a lesson. You know what the lesson is? Don't do the crime if you don't want to do the time. It says it was the same old stuff. Gene Siskel gave the film 2.5 stars out of 4, saying the problem with the Magnum Force is that this new side of Harry, his anti-vigilantism, is never made believable in the context of his continuing tendency to brandish his 44 Magnum. Again, that's his baby. It's like Han Solo with his blaster. You're going to see a movie with him not using it. Even that god-awful Solo movie did that. And yes, I'm going to get to that, but not this month. So with S, I'm going to review Sudden Impact. And that's it, because I'm going to talk about that one some other time. But yeah, it's a trademark weapon of his. Every anti-hero has one. And it says here, yeah, a harsh critic of Eastwood for many years mocked his performance as Dirty Carrington. He isn't an actor, so one could hardly call him a bad actor. I'm like, no, he's badass. And he's an anti-hero. Doesn't care what you think. It says it's less self-righteous message than the original Dirty Harry, blah, blah, blah. And also, we are left with the comforting assurance that we need him, Harry, and all the cops like him to do the dirty jobs no one else wants to. Yeah, the film got a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a good movie, guys. Go in not looking for realism. Go in to be entertained. For what it is, it's entertaining. It's not meant to be real life. This is not a documentary, guys. This isn't Bowling for Columbine. That really happened. That's horrifying. This didn't. It's a freaking movie. Get over yourselves. It's like if Black Widow, they do some controversy there saying, oh, she choked a guy with a freaking leg stocking. I'm like, it's a movie. I'm not going to take it personally. What I take personally is when they shoehorn in agendas that are not needed in films. You know what I'm talking about. Check my channel. Anyway, Magnum Force is a good sequel. If you want to see a good sequel done in a darker way, in a longer, more stretched out way, but not too long, Yeah, it's definitely a sequel to watch after the first one. Then Enforcer, Sudden Impact, and the Deadpool. Which the Deadpool is probably like the most like too late film because it's done way after the Sudden Impact. It was like 5 years later, and people were already over it because you had Die Hard at the time, Lethal Weapon, Tim Burton's Batman was about to come out. You had sequels to. You had a lot of horror movies at the time, so people had gotten over it. But yeah, this is a good sequel for 1973. A lot of movies were very dark at that time. Let's face it, every R-rated movie has a some kind of controversy if it got a mainstream release. Just saying, guys. What about this year? Hmm? What about this year? What R-rated movies came out this year? Bad Boys 3. Again, what was the controversy? Huh? Oh, it's too violent. It's not meant for kids. You know that. Or any of the horror films that came out that were R, like The Hunt. Oh, the controversy. It doesn't have a female agenda because the director didn't want to put that in. There was 18 movies last year that had the freaking females are the most dominant creatures in their movie. Bullshit, because guess what? The ones that you try to preach your message failed. Dark Fate failed. Woke Angels failed. Black Christmas failed. I know Josh will like that jab at that. We don't need it. We get it. We're all equals. You don't need to freaking shoehorn in pathetic, freaking boring ass agendas in a freaking movie. The Hunt didn't need Betty Gilpin to say, "I don't need a man to save me from these torturous people. I can handle myself. I don't need no man. Fuck men." No, she never says that in that movie. I know from the trailer. I'm interested in that movie because Betty Gilpin's badass and a great actress. And here, Clint Eastwood is a great actor. It's acting, people. It's not real. It's a freaking performance. If it doesn't gel with you, fine. Maybe the dark tone's not for you, but you don't have to be like, what is the controversy? Yeah, everything has to have a controversy nowadays. But anyway, despite that, this is a good movie. Watch it. If you've seen the first one, it's a worthy sequel. I'm going to end it there. I don't want to get too overly political because that's not why I'm on YouTube. I'm here to entertain you people because the lockdown's not over yet. We got to beat this thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. And the next time we'll be reviewing a comedy. So something a little lighter, a lot lighter, not as violent. So see you in the next one.